Hello, and welcome to Varieties of Slice of Life, an Otaku Media podcast. As always, I am Anthony, and joining me today is the lovely Zach.
Hello.
And Jarrett.
Salutations, Internet.
We are a bi-monthly podcast talking about games, anime, and a whole bunch of stuff. Today we're going to be talking about underrated and underappreciated animes. It's kind of just our picks for some very good animes that don't get a lot of recognition or limelight, or just are kind of gone under the radar in general. So,
well, I mean, was it every season? You get the 2 or 3 if you're lucky, good standouts of a season, but then you just have so much you have a decent amount of middle ground, and then you just have a lot of trash.
Yeah. Plus, a lot of mine at least are older, so it's just the fandom just has forgot about it, or people who were into anime got into it after that show came out, so they just never, ended up watching it.
Yeah.
It's actually how most of mine is now that I'm really looking at it. But yeah, so I guess we get started with Bamboo Blade. It is a lovely little slice of life anime. It came out in 2007, ran for one season, was 26 episodes, based off of a manga, I believe. And it follows I forget what the hell the sport is called. You wear a big mask and bodysuit, and you have a bamboo sword, and you try to hit each other on top of the head. Kendo, that's what it is. It's about a kendo club in a high school, and it's about 5/6 girls that are attending it. One of them is kind of in between and doesn't show up for every episode, so it's kind of hard to say. And then about the teacher that's teaching them. The main character is a very quiet, shy girl. She's kind of the most boring out of everybody, but the rest of the cast really makes up for it. The teacher might be one of the funniest fucking anime protagonists I've ever seen. There's a scene where he just yells at an old lady for taking his spot in a parking lot. It's just a very good comedy slice of life, and it's got the typical character they use a different type of fighting style, and they might not win because it's a very high risk high reward style, so it's got a bit of everything. It was produced by Square Enix of all people, so it's kind of a
Okay.
yeah, it's weird.
That's not one you see too often anymore.
Yeah,
it's I know they've done stuff, but
yeah, there's some animes I love that are produced by them, and it just every time I look at the credits and I see that logo, I'm just huh. It's something I forget about every time. Barakamon is published by them as well. I'm just huh.
So they just do. I didn't know that Square Enix just does anime as well. I thought they were strictly a game company. Aside from the greatest movie of all time, Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
You mean Advent Children?
It's great. I don't care what anybody says. It's the greatest sci-fi movie ever made.
Yeah, I'd recommend it if you like little slice of life stuff. It's a little long, and some of it drags on because the whole plot is just kind of, hey, let's, there's a big tournament coming up, and we gotta get together and do good enough to qualify, and then they get to it, and then
does it at least have a good tournament arc?
Tournament arc's not bad. Every girl has their own individual fight, and there's that whole fighting bracket thing where they slowly ascend.
Yeah.
And then, every main character gets knocked off one by one until it's just the main character left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing super crazy to write home about, but I've never seen a kendo anime at least, so it was nice to watch, and I learned a lot about it. Art styles. What?
I was gonna ask, what's the episode count on it?
26.
Because you say it was kind of long.
Yeah, 26 episodes.
Wait, how much?
26.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. It was just the amount of content they have for all those 26 episodes is a bit short.
Ah.
They could probably condense it down to about 13.
Yeah, if it
normal
feels
runtime.
Yeah.
feels longer, like feels longer than I would expect for an anime if it's like type. Like I don't know specifics, but the fact that it's just like a all female cast slice of life sports anime, wouldn't expect it to have that many episodes.
Oh, I forgot. So the whole the whole reason why the guy is teaching it is, and he wants his team to win, is because he gets free meals for a year if he does that. So I forgot that his whole thing is he's like constantly hungry and like trying to scrounge up money to buy food.
That's
Noble goals.
Oh, it's really good. It's really, really dumb, but really good. This was like one of the first animes I ever watched, so like I learned a lot about just random cultural shit about like Japan high school, and like oddly enough, like how people sit. I learned quite a bit about because they have like a discussion about that at some point. Again, this anime kind of wastes a lot of time, but it's a very good casual thing. But yeah, check it out if you like slice of life, or if you want to see a little kendo thing.
How was the music? Notable?
I don't actually remember the music. I watched this probably close to 10 years ago. Yeah.
Memorable, but not 100% there.
Yeah, the show was memorable enough for me to like really like talking about it, but it was like it wasn't as memorable as like School Rumbles, because I watched this about the same time I watched School Rumble. And that had kind of iconic music just because of how weird and energetic it was.
Yeah.
Animation's very clean, though, I will say, for the early 2000s era. Voice acting also very well done.
That's good.
Yeah. You two, well, Jarrett specifically, but you two have both seen Sweetness and Lightning. I've heard a bit about it, though.
Yeah, all of mine have two interesting things. They're all food related, and they all have crossover with Zach, because it turns out me and Zach have some pretty similar tastes in some things. So,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
oh, ain't nothing wrong at all. It just means we can talk longer about it. Yeah, Sweetness and Lightning, one of the very few, I just flat out will say, wholesome, lovely slice of life animes in a genre that me and Zach think should exist, but has very few representatives of the single dad raising a daughter anime.
Yeah, Zach specifically has mentioned that genre, that pseudo genre, quite a bit. So
Yeah, like I have a weird obsession with, I forget what Baka manga updates, they actually have like a tag for it. I forget what they called it.
Oh.
But it's like they have like a tag for like weird, like I think it's makeshift family was the tag for it. But usually like either like a dad who like lost the mother and is just raising his child on his own, or like a guy who finds a kid or something and has to raise them.
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with that like weird genre.
And I think I've become as well after watching Sweetness and Lightning, and My Dad's Secret Ambition. Just, I don't know. There's something so wholesome and heartwarming about it that it's refreshing. It's light. It's 12 episodes, normal runtime. It's from 2016. That's the summer of 2016. Revolves around what's his name? I can't pronounce that last name, but it's the dad taking care of the daughter Sugami, and the daughter is like in kindergarten, so she's what, like 5?
She's the one that is she the one that has the pink hair? Is that the one I'm thinking of, or is this
No, she just has a very large, massive tangle of blondish, orangish hair.
I love her hair because it's so fluffy looking. It's like
Yeah.
it's like just really nice color blonde, and it's just like messy, and she has these like funny boots as well.
Oh yeah. But like they do the good slice of life thing where you can tell that time passes and that it's a different day because they actually changed the main character's clothes. Not so much the dad, because the dad works in an office, but for Sugami, they change her look. They even change her hair. Not like cut or anything, but they're like, she'll have it up in ponytail, or they'll have it up in pigtails or something like that. I love when she's wearing the rain jacket and it's all like mostly covered. It's just a tiny bit showing.
That's kind of rare because you very rarely, like, you see a lot of people, it's common for anime characters to have the same outfit in every episode. Rare for them to change outfits every episode, but even more rare to change hairstyles like that.
Yeah. Like the only times that the characters have like on a similar outfit are the people who are in uniform. So when Sugami's at school, same outfit. When the one girl who is helping the dad learn how to cook, she will either be in her school uniform, which is the same, or it's whatever she's wearing at her house, because her house is also the restaurant where they found randomly. I'm trying to remember the first episode on how they even found.
She gives them a card for their restaurant.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, because they went to go look at cherry blossoms and they just saw her eating food alone, but she was crying. So Sugami just went up and was like, "Oh, why are you crying?" And she's like, "Oh, the food's so good. My mom made it." And she's like, "Oh, she actually owns a restaurant." And hands them the tag, and then Sugami wants to go eat there, and so the dad runs and like late at night to go, but the mom, I guess, has been working on some kind of Japanese TV show or something.
Yeah, she's like a weird like freaking TV star. She's like a famous chef.
Yeah, but she just runs like a very small restaurant that's literally in the back of an alley. It's also their house. But the mom is just constantly away on like TV shoots, because like the last episode she shows up and she's just like in a schoolgirl's uniform.
Oh,
not like the crazy looking one, but like a normal looking school uniform.
Still weird.
Still weird. It's just like, oh yeah, no, sorry, I forgot. I ran home so fast from set that I forgot to change.
But I definitely like this anime, but for the characters, Tsumugi especially, because she's probably one of the best kid characters in an anime, because just the way she acts is just like adorable and weird.
Like pretty much a genuine 5-year-old. And I like the dad having parenting realizations of the like, this is a lot more than I expected, but I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah,
having genuine moments, like when he yells at her a couple of times, he's just like
I love like he rushes her to the restaurant because he realizes that his food is that she doesn't like his food, so he wants to give her like a real meal.
Yeah,
definitely my favorite like moment is when she's eating the rice and she's like showing off the fact that she's eating the rice, and then the dad just starts crying.
Yeah. Because like the complexity of the foods like increase throughout the show. Like nothing too outrageous, because the girl who's teaching him how to cook, she doesn't use knives because she's frightened greatly to use them.
Why?
Hard to explain. They talk about it a little bit, but not too much. But she loves to eat, so she is like, yeah, I can have my mom like make basic rundowns of these recipes, but I can't cut them. So he learns how to cut and how to make the food and everything, while she instructs. She has a band-aid on her finger the entire time throughout the show, except for maybe at school. I don't remember seeing it while she's at school, but she always has a band-aid on one of her fingers, and I don't know why. They never explain it.
Is it like the dominant like finger that you use to grip when you cut stuff, or is it just...
It's her middle finger, I think.
Okay, that's even weirder.
Like the middle finger on her right hand, I think. I can't remember which hand. So there's that thing that sadly doesn't get explained, at least in the anime. Yeah, but just the journey of the dad learning how to cook his daughter really good food so that she can be happy and, get good food, and you meet different characters throughout, like the schoolgirl's friend whose family runs like the biggest vegetable dealers in the city. Yagi, who's the dad's one of his friends.
which has a great scene where he's giving her like candy cigarettes, but the other girl thinks that he's giving Sumigi real cigarettes.
Yeah.
Freaking great.
Yeah, because Kotori, she's like at the market or something and just sees Sugami walking with someone else, so she just follows him. They end up in a park, and just shenanigans ensue. And that's the lovely donut making episode. Because Sugami doesn't know if donuts are a snack or a meal.
Children.
Yeah.
So is this one of the kind of animes where it shows you the recipe at some point in the show, or
Shows you what?
like the recipe at some point during the show?
No. It like they go in decent detail, but not like step by step showing you how to actually make it. Like it gets close to showing you how to make it, but it's not like here's the recipe. Most of the stuff is fairly simple. There's only a couple things that are like crazy. It's only 12 episodes, so not a lot to get into, but they touch on a lot of good, like the hardships that would come up from this, like having to discipline your kid when they act out, having to deal with the fact that the mom has passed, because even in the show they get past like the 1 year mark that she passed away. They did the usual thing of not explaining how it happened, which is fine. I don't really need to want to know the answer.
The typical, anime sickness.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention the very important thing of that the dad is the teacher to the girl who is teaching him how to cook.
Oh, like
Because he's a teacher.
school teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a school teacher. Because they end up meeting later, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm actually in your class." He's like, "Oh, huh, all right then." But they just have. She finds a secret place to eat out at lunch, so he just keeps stopping by there to talk to her and like talk about food that he wants to make for Sugami.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just a lovely anime. It's very light, very warm.
Yeah, it sounds. What is it? Like a very heartfelt show.
Yeah. Her Sugami's reactions to the food and some things are just the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Like her smug face at one point is just so good.
Smug child faces are always the best.
Mm-hmm.
How does the food look in this show? Is this one of the ones where it's like really detailed and like,
Yeah.
kind of like Food Wars level?
It's a little bit below Food Wars, but it's still the usual, like, drawn food pretty much always looks really delicious, especially in animes. It's on that same level. It's like literally like just a knock below Food Wars in the like level of detail, but the food always looks good.
Okay.
And then sometimes they'll get like a bit more realistic with it and like show it like with imperfections.
Yeah.
That's nice, because not a lot of things do that. Like the only cooking thing that I've ever seen was Food Wars, so I'm kind of not really a good judge of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 3 people who don't really know how to cook very well learning how to cook, so
Yeah.
it's like they shouldn't be making these like Food Wars tier foods.
That's kind of cool. Who would you recommend this for?
If you enjoy slice of life, it's very good for that. If you're like me and Zach with the liking of the mishmashed mixed family,
I call it dad animes.
yeah, dadame.
Future episode, Dad Animes.
Yeah.
I have enough. I have enough animes to actually fill that up.
Oh, I'm so glad that you do. Sorry. I was getting worried. I was like, "Oh, I don't think I have enough," but good thing you do. If you enjoy cooking, it is a good one because it's a normal run episode, so most of it is a decent amount of the cooking. So, music, not bad.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
The opening and ending is really good. The opening's super good. The ending's by Brian the Sun for anybody who's seen My Hero. They did the guys that did the first CD of My Hero.
Thought they sounded familiar. Couldn't quite place it.
Well, cool. Shall we move on to whatever the hell Zach has next? Don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, alright. So, this is an anime. This is an anime about a guy named Ichigo who goes to the Soul Society to...
Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding. I had to make that joke because this is also an anime about Shinigamis. So this anime is called Kyokai no Rene. It's written by Rumiko Takahashi, which is the woman who wrote some of the most iconic stuff of all time: Inuyasha, Ranma Half, whatever that one with like that weird alien with like the tiger stripe like bikini. She wrote that too. This is written by her. It's an anime about this girl named Mamada Sakura, who is, when she was younger, she visited the spirit world, and ever since she's like been there, she now can see spirits, and she ends up realizing that her seat neighbor in class is a Shinigami, and she just kind of gets wrapped up in like his weird like world of reaping spirits and all that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say this. I looked it up. I don't like that fucking cat girl's hair fur thing transition.
Are you talking about are you talking about the fucking like the tiny cat thing that just has a human face?
Yeah, it's like it's complete cat fur, and then like the back of the head transitions up into like bangs, and then it's just a human face, and it looks so weird from the side view.
Yeah, that's like
that for me. I need
that's
to
like
see
a
this
main.
now.
That's like a main character too. I hate his design so much. I love that character. And he has like one of the coolest transformations, but I just hate his base form.
It's like someone messed up making the sketch of the cat from Sailor Moon and accidentally put Tuxedo Mask's face over it.
This is it's the equivalent of a fucking Iggy's dog face transformation on a cat man.
What is going on?
The worst part is that we see a plethora of black cat characters. He's the only one who looks like that. Like the rest are like they're either like girls and boys with like animal ears and tails, or like human-sized black cats. He's the only one who's that small and weird looking.
Human-sized black cats. Jeez. I'm glad that they did go with this version for Morgana in Persona 5.
So I take it that the spirit world has the same kind of art style as like Inuyasha, or something similar at least.
Spirit world it's kind of more normal looking. Like it's like we don't go to the spirit world a lot. Like the spirit world isn't completely the setting. It's like we visit there like 30% or so. Like they go there quite a bit, but it's not like amazing looking. It's usually just like a forest. It's like a forest, a festival. There's like a big like festival strip that they pass by a lot. And then it's like it's got a cool looking sky. Like it's like a colorful sky with a giant wheel in it, because the most important part about the spirit world is the wheel of reincarnation, which is what Rene takes the spirits to so they can get reincarnated.
Uh-huh.
So like kind of the symbol of the whole series is the wheel of reincarnation. But you go.
I was just saying, this art style looks like, because it's, I mean, she has a very distinct art style, and it's a very 90s themed thing. And so the fact that this came out in 2015 is a very interesting
Wait, what?
art style. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at it earlier, and then I was like, I was thinking how interesting it is that it does still kind of look like Inuyasha. Like, you can definitely tell it was made. It was like, it's her series.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like just the eye, like the picture we have for the cat dude, just his eyes alone already reminds me of the one wolf dude from Inuyasha. Like immediately, I was like, I recognize that face, those eyes.
I love the characters. The characters just have like pretty good characterization. Like the main girl, Mamita Sakura, she's probably one of my favorite female protagonists ever because of like almost because of how little she tends to care about things. Because she's so like barely afraid of anything. Like she'll like kind of yelp in surprise when she like falls from a great height or something. But like she's generally not afraid when she's put in these dangerous situations. And like my favorite part about it is like in any like the important part of the thing is like Renee's like super poor. Like that's where pretty much most of the comedy comes from, is the fact that Renee's like ridiculously poor. And like in any other anime that would be like this, it would usually be like the girl would like the guy would end up living with the girl, or the girl would bring him lunches or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, like, she just doesn't care. Like, she doesn't like help him at all, really. Like, like she does it more out of obligation than rather like she wants to. Like, she'll lend him money for his like weird Shinigami stuff, but like she doesn't really help him out when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like the only time she ever brings him food is because like, oh, my mom had leftovers. Like she's like always scolding him and stuff. Like her characterization is like really funny, and like it's very obviously Renee is in love with her. Like that gets obvious pretty fast. But then like even Mommy Sakura's not sure that she's in love with him.
Huh. I like the weapons in this because the guy has like the giant scythe, and there's that weird mirror staff.
Oh yeah, his scythe is so cool. His scythe is crazy cool looking. It's like you'll have to put like a picture of it for the podcast thing, but it's like is it like a skull or something?
Yeah, it looks like a bird skull almost. Yeah.
Yeah, and then well, it's got like some interesting things. Like I love there's an effect I like that they do a lot where like Renee has this like cloak that he can put on, and when he's wearing it, he gains the properties of a ghost, where he can like phase through things, turn invisible, and like fly. And I like
much more
when
than the other guys. Think he'll be here all night.
Phantom. But I love when he's wearing it, the lighting for him changes. Like if it's dusk, like you can see the dusk lighting on all the characters. But as soon as Renee puts on the cloak, he's like evenly lit, like he's in like daylight.
Interesting way of doing that.
Yeah, like invisible characters are like evenly lit, while like visible characters are like real lighting.
That's kind of cool. That's a good way of doing that, to where you can definitely tell, but it doesn't throw off the style too hard.
Yeah. And yeah. And I was like, I like this. I like this series because it's very like. It doesn't have like a lot to it. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's like very just kind of like almost like monster. Yeah, it's pretty much a monster of the week kind of thing where they solve a problem every episode. And it's like the comedy is kind of repetitive, but I think I kind of like it because of that. And it's got like a funny thing where like every time Renee uses some sort of like weird Shinigami gadget, they always tell you how much it costs to like show you how much Renee has paid for it, because like I said, all the comedy comes from Rene being super poor. Like it gets repetitive really fast. Like the Rene being poor joke. It's like every episode is like, Rene, do this thing and you can get money or food. He does the thing, he loses the money or the food, and then he cries blood. And that's every episode.
He cries blood.
Yeah, it's just like anytime something bad happens to him, he just cries blood.
All right.
All right then.
And then the reason I wanted to talk about this anime though was because it is the most obscure anime with the most amount of episodes. This anime has 75 episodes,
Jesus
and no one talks about this anime episode. No one talks about this anime, but it has 3 seasons with 75 episodes.
Yeah, I've never seen anything of
You knew.
this. Huh. Is it still going on, or is it, like, ended for the time being?
Yeah, it's probably like ended for now. I don't think the anime covered the whole manga, but they definitely had a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that woman definitely knows
yeah,
how to write characters, I guess.
Those seasons came out fast too. Like they were like those 3 seasons came out in like the span of like 2 years. I was super surprised.
Wow.
Also, all the openings and endings are bangers. Like when it comes to most animes, there's usually like one opening or an ending. I can be like, I don't really like this one. Rene, all of them are super memorable and super good.
Nice.
Me too.
So, yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say for it. It's just like, you know, if you want just like a chill anime, like something you don't have to take too seriously, like kind of like a monster of the week, you just jump in any episode and watch. This is that kind of show.
Huh. Cool. Wow. Okay, so Ergo Proxy is the next one that I want to talk about.
You mean Evanescence, the anime?
I didn't realize that this came out the exact same season as Bamboo Blade.
Wow.
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
Wait, what year was that?
2006.
I've seen the art style for Ergo Proxy. That done. Yeah, from what I remember, it doesn't fully read 2006.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't quite look like an
well,
older one.
It reads 2006 because the main character looks like she's from Evanescence. I mean, that's who she's based off of. It's very evident, but God, Ergo Proxy might be the weirdest, most complex anime I've ever actually watched, and it's not for everybody, but it is definitely something to take note of.
Wait, is it more complex than Book of Bantora?
Yes, but everything is explained. Like, everything is explained. And this has a lot more of an existential dread tone as compared to Book of Bantora. It's fair in comparing the two, but I would say Book of Bantora is definitely more of an action thing when this is a very slow-paced burner anime that brings up like questions of what it means to be alive, what is humanity, you know, is there a god, so on and so forth. Yeah, the main character is Riel Mayer, R-E-L Mayer. Yeah,
Some like VA11 Hall-A type names.
it's very, very interesting. And then there's also the other character whose name is Vincent Law, and then Pino, who is a tiny little robot lolly.
Pino Honderio.
It, like, the first 8 episodes are like a buddy cop monster investigation thing where like Riel and her robot assistant are trying to track down this monster. Then episode 8 hits and some shit goes down, and then it becomes like a road trip show with Pino and Vincent, and they're traveling through a wasteland with a bunch of people. No, I take it back. They're traveling through a wasteland with a bunch of people. And then it like turns into like this weird anime about like this town on the outskirts of like this massive city, and just like all the shit going down with them. And like they introduce characters where you're like, oh, they are definitely important, and then they're like not in any of the episodes. So God, and then there's like weird Alice in Wonderland vibes at some point. They go into like one of the characters' brains for a while. There's like a weird fight with like a guy's inner demons, and like somebody becomes an angel, and just gets so out of hand. Oh, but it's so good. Any of this out of context, you'd be like, what the fuck is happening? But the show will explain it to you in its own time. Like, there's an episode where they literally wake up in Disney World, and a giant Walt Disney man is like, hey, welcome to my theme park, enjoy yourselves. And then they explain it in a way that fits perfectly within the show, and it all makes sense.
All I know is that the show has fucking the weird game show that's like named as like a mismatch of like a bunch of like weird shit.
Oh yeah, like who wants to not be in Jeopardy or some dumb shit. Yeah, I forgot about that one too, because that one you're like, what the hell is happening? And then it gets explained in the exact same way as the Disney World one, so it's really odd. That episode in particular, though, is very fourth wall breaking, and it's very odd, because if that is the case, then like what the hell is the show in the context of this world? But it is not a pretty anime, I will say that much. It is very heavy in grays, blacks, and dark purples. And some of the still frames are not well made at all. Like, faces get very distorted and it's not good looking, but the story is insanely complex, very interesting. It's, God, like the first 8 episodes are kind of hard to get through, I'm not gonna lie. But just like the end of episode 8 is probably one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen in an anime, period. And that got me hooked immediately, and I ended up binge watching the rest of it. It's only 23 episodes, it's not terribly long. Yeah. They have like a cool concept where they have like a town council, and some of them are like, some of the town council are AI, so they're these giant Greek statues that like can kind of move, like they turn their heads and might move their arm, but they don't ever move from that pose usually, and then they talk, and it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Very good use of CGI, especially for 2006 now I think about it. And yeah, and then it has like, I can think of maybe 10 actual scenes where it's nice and bright daytime pretty colors, and they look great, but like the main characters contrast very heavily with that. It's definitely some kind of love letter towards Western culture to a degree, because the main character was obsessed with like Evanescence and certain American bands, so kind of cool. Opening, fucking banger. It's one of the few anime songs, or anime openings specifically, that I have on my phone that I like listen to on repeat. And yeah, there's like probably 40 plot points I didn't explain. Yeah, it's like 40 plot points that I just didn't even explain that still go in further depth about all this shit. So it's really crazy. I love it though. Don't regret watching this at all. And the voice acting is like insanely good for early 2000s.
Huh.
Yeah. Would recommend this if you like existential dread. That's all I can really say, because there's no other category that this fucking thing fits in. But yeah, oh yeah, it was also animated by Funimation. Its final episode came out on my birthday in 2006.
Huh.
Yeah.
Neat.
All right. Well, if we want to move on to Isekai, whatever that is.
It's Isekai Isekaya. otherwise known as Japanese food from another world. Yeah, from another world. Unfortunately, there is a show similar to it that's very different called A Restaurant to Another World that I may accidentally say it a couple times.
Very similar in premise.
Yeah, and in name.
So I do like Isekai's presentation more.
Oh yeah. Basic rundown. It's an isekai. Oh.
Really?
But it's shocker. But it's a normal Eden Japanese restaurant whose main restaurant door just happens to open up into like a German fantasy medieval world.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's I believe the restaurant is called it's called Nobu. Or sorry, it is specifically called a bar. It is a bar called Nobu. And its front door opens up into kind of like in the middle of like a kingdom, like an actual like castle and everything, with palace guards that are tired from a long day's work, peasants and nobility and everyone in between. It's kind of come to this bar because they get really good food that they've never heard or seen before, and this amazing thing called beer.
Oh
They
yeah,
all
you
just call
showed me the
ale.
first episode of this. Okay.
Yeah, the gags that they have in the show that they use a lot are funny, like them just eating the fava beans, which are just an appetizer kind of snack thing that's just in a bowl, like basically the equivalent to us having peanuts. And one of the guards is just like keeps eating them, and then the next thing you know, like the bowl's empty. He puts his hand in, he's like, "Oh, thank God!" He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad we ran out. If there had been more, I don't think I would have ever stopped eating these.
Or the
I would have stuck here for all
on
eternity."
tap.
Yeah, what's on tap?
Yeah, yeah. Like I love how they never learn the proper name. They just call it "What's on Tap" the whole anime.
Oh, and don't forget about Prosit.
Yeah, that's like their
Prosit.
their cheers, like Projit, which is the great ending song to the anime, where it's just the singers go like the singer just yelling Projit as like all the guys like clanging their beers together.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't have an intro, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think
I
it just
I
has
think they
the
have, like,
intro.
Yeah, I think they just have an intro where they explain like the premise, where they just explain how they opened their restaurant out to another world.
Yeah. It is.
Which I love is like they're not. Are you going?
No, you good.
I was just saying, I love how like the restaurant isn't like stuck in this world. Like their back door goes out to Tokyo, like a Tokyo city, like an actual modern day city. It's just like the front door of the restaurant is what goes out to this place.
Yeah, the back door just opens up into normal Kyoto, Japan.
Do they ever explain what would happen if they went through the front door in Japan?
I don't think there is a front door in the Japan.
Huh.
So it's only the back door.
Yeah, they never really go like full on depth on how like any of it works. They just do it.
Understandable.
But it's one chef / owner, and then one hostess, waitress, whatever you want to call her. Who it's not a very big. It's one of the smaller Japanese bars, so it's like there's a bar and then a few tables. So there's nothing huge, but still get a decent amount of people in there. It is a light novel for its source. What we got in this here? Yeah, only 2018. It is younger than I remember it being. I think I may have ended up watching this as it was coming out then. 24 episodes, but only 14 minutes long, and they're actually only 10 minutes long because the last 4 minutes are a mixture of real life things. So either it is someone showing you how to make the recipe that you saw, or their close approximation of it, or there's the one of it follows an old man going to restaurants that have these similar things that you've seen in the show, and him drinking. And then I thought there was a third kind that they had, but I don't remember what it was. I think it may have just been basic information about Japanese areas or something like that. So, it's 24 episodes, but very fast to get through, especially if you cut out the end 4 minutes, which I don't really recommend. They're fun, they're interesting, they're not like tied to anything. Like the show doesn't really have a story. It's very slice of life. Like the only plot line that kind of continues is when they get a homeless girl working for them. That's the only point that like
from Japan or from the other world.
No, from the other world.
Uh-huh.
So I think she like tries to steal food from them, and they end up just giving her a job there. She's
Also,
like a poor orphan.
Also, say I wouldn't recommend. Also, wouldn't recommend skipping the last things because I love the narrator for those, because it's like this wholesome woman who like it'll be like when the old dude's going out to restaurants, he'll be talking about the food, he'll show the food, and then the woman's like, "Oh, that's delicious!" Like it's just this.
I forgot about that.
This like wholesome woman reacting to things. That's so hilarious. Just precious.
Wholesome times.
But I think me and Zach's favorite episode is episode 14, called "The Spy in the Salad," which it's the synopsis for it is just ludicrous, but kind of makes sense in a hilarious way. The way that the events tangle together, because it's a spy from a neighboring country who is using food to determine the wealth, more or less, of the country that he's spying on. And he does this by ordering salads. Because it can determine their raw vegetable yield. And that can determine how much money they have as a kingdom.
It's a very complex way of doing it, but it's realistic, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's like you can determine like what ingredients you have, how much of it is fresh, the sheer like quantity of it, and so on and so forth. But with this being a normal modern day Japanese restaurant that has access to the entire rest of the food world and easy supply of salad, they literally go, "Yeah, which kind would you like?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, sorry, I understand. Not all restaurants have salad." And he's like, "Wait a minute, you said what kind? You have more than one salad?"
Yeah, I love and like it's such a glorious episode because like anytime something happens, he thinks he gets so smug and thinks he has the upper hand. Like they're like, oh, "Okay, you want to try all of them?" It's like we'll give you like small We'll give you like small samplers, and you can have all of the salads. And he's like, so they're cutting down the size, like so they really don't have much. And then like the second salad is like a potato salad, and because potatoes are cheap, he's like, "Haha!" So they cheaped out on me. But then it's like mayonnaise in it, and like he starts freaking out because it's freaking mayonnaise.
Yeah, because mayonnaise in like medieval Germany is kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, they start putting like pepper on it, and he's like shitting his pants because like pepper's worth its weight in gold.
The final salad is the best because it's a dragon fruit salad with gold leaf on top of it. So he's just like, "They killed a dragon and used its horn as garnish." These people are insane.
Love that.
The entire country pretty much avoided war by a salad.
I love comedy food stuff like that. Like Food Wars does that a lot. Just somebody freaking out about some random aspect of the food.
Yeah. I love the setup to this anime because Restaurant to Another World also did this, where like every episode is focused on a character, like either a regular and like their experience with it, or like a person showing up for the first time, and then we'll get to see them in like episodes later on as a regular now.
Yeah.
It shows it focuses a lot on the two guards from the first episode, but we have like a lot of people that we go through until eventually like the last episode where every character is there.
Or what character was there?
Every character.
Oh yeah, every character.
Yeah, which is a good
yeah,
which is a good send off to the show, is just having every single character that we've met up till then just show up at the end.
And then like the food is pretty much always different. Like they have a couple of the same like snack things and what's on tap, but it's a very light, bright, comedic food anime, and it's just the food is, as you were talking about earlier, like whether it was like Food Wars quality, it is so detailed, it is so lovely and just well crafted and animated. It's just great. Also the chef kind of looks like the he looks a little bit like the main character from Big O. He's got that Bruce Wayne jawline that you could like shovel with it, but
Huh.
yeah, but this show goes like all over the place with just like the people that show up in it, and that's one of the things. Like it's the food, it's the variety of food, and it's the variety of people that you end up meeting throughout the show. Because like there's, I said like town guards, they end up being like the 3 top harbor masters or something in it. Then they have like a great like monetary economic debate over who should get like the king's money.
So it definitely gets more complex, I guess would be the right word for it then.
Only like an episode or two. Like that's the only one that's crazy because it's like 3 different like people who are in control at different parts of the harbor, but they in the end they're just like, we're all really important.
And the problem is solved by food.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I think he made a meal that mixed all of the qualities of each of their parts of the harbor together.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So. Yeah, if you like slice of life, it kind of falls in the slice of life category. I mean, it takes place in one. It's kind of like how JoJo Part 4 is, where it just takes place in one place. This place being a lot smaller scale-wise than Part 4, but
I was going to ask, is just cooking its own genre?
Yeah, that's a genre of anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a huge one to my knowledge, but it's its own.
Talking to you two, I realize how vastly different our tastes in anime are.
Oh, I've understood that for a while. I'm a weird middle ground mishmash of you two. But like I don't go to either extremes that you two do, but I have a bit of my own flair, but I'm still mostly a weird middle of you guys. We're more like a triangle. We have our extremes, and we all kind of meet in each other's center.
Yeah, we all have stuff that we can kind of agree on here and there.
Yeah. And then we have things that we don't agree on.
Inferno Cop is the best anime ever made. No one can change my mind.
Not really. Same with Bantora.
Alright, do we want to move on to Venus to Memoru?
Yeah, the Venus to Mamoru, or the full title, Mamoru-kun, The Blessings of the Goddess, which is I don't even know how I found this anime. This anime is crazy obscure. It came out in 2006, October 2006.
It's all these 2006 animes.
I swear mid 2000s has the best anime. Like anything for the mid 2000s is bomb. Like Lucky Star was mid 2000s, I
Oh
think.
my god. I want to look up a list of what came out in 2006 now and find out what fucking good shit was on there.
Yeah. This is a pretty good anime. Where essentially like it's about this kid who comes to this like super prestigious high school for like that's meant for training people with this like magical power that they call Beatrice, I think. He doesn't have the ability to use Beatrice, but he comes to this school because he was saved by someone who had that power, and he just goes here in the chance of meeting that person. He just kind of gets in on his like intelligence, and then like almost like instantly, like the first like minute he walks in through the school gates, he sees like a girl, and then the girl like he sees this girl, and he's like, and then the girl's just like, go out with me, and he's like, okay.
All right, don't gonna ask me twice.
And then like, yeah, and then like, I just really like this anime. Like I like the art style because I have a gigantic soft spot for like dated animation. Like that's why I love that kind of mid 2000s era, is because the animation is just kind of dated, where it's not like super modern, but still got that tinge of like the 90s in it a bit. And then it's just like a really adorable romance anime because like they're already in a relationship, like at the very start. Two people who didn't know each other previously, so it's just kind of an awkward relationship of them like stumbling through and discovering it, with also like the occasional like magic plot mixed in, because there's also magic battles every once in a while.
So, how'd you end up finding this? Because you said it was really obscure.
I have no idea. I wish I knew. Like, I wish I had any idea how I discovered this anime. I just don't remember. It's been like so. Like, I watched this like 5 years ago. It was like mid high school, had to be.
Huh. Interesting. How long is it?
24 episodes, surprisingly.
Okay.
Then, I mean, the character's also really good. Like the, awkward two main characters, awkward love. The other characters just like teasing them all the time because they just have fun seeing these two awkward lovebirds. Then the best characters being the two delinquent dudes who are like lackeys of this like rival character. Where like my favorite thing is like any delinquent lackey character doing something like really cool, because there's just a scene where these like two stupid like lackey dudes crash their car through a gate to get the main character through into this party, and it's such a badass scene.
Interesting. How was the music in it?
I mean, I don't remember the OST, but the opening and ending is super good. Very nostalgic to me. I don't remember.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you were saying how the 2006 era was like really, good for anime. So I looked up what actually came out in 2006. We have Death Note, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple, which is later in this list. What else do we have in here? Fist of the Blue Sky, which I know a lot of people like. D. Gray Man. Pumpkin Scissors, which I don't remember if that's good or bad, but I know it was kind of relevant for a while. Like, just a lot of random, really good stuff came out in 2006. What the hell was that?
Only some of the most, like, popular, like, some really popular anime just in there.
I feel like it was, like, 2006 and 2009.
Oh my god, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Digimon Data Squad? I don't know.
Oh, That's a pretty good Digimon season.
All right, 2006, definitely a good year to start.
Definitely a great, adorable romance anime with a little bit of kind of magic mixed in. I just love romance animes that like get the relationship like it doesn't end with the relationship. The relationship happens in the course of it, and then we get to see like that relationship actually progress past the girlfriend boyfriend stage, which this anime like completely skips the beginning steps of that by literally having it literally start the anime with the relationship. I mean, it's unique, definitely, but it works because it definitely makes their relationship even more impossibly awkward than it could have been.
So is she more interested in him, or is it the other? Like, how's that dynamic?
I mean, they're kind of like equally interested in each other because like they didn't like I said they didn't know each other. I mean, technically they did.
They knew each other, but they didn't know each other.
Yeah, remember how I said that his life was saved by someone who could use the magic? Surprise, surprise, it was her.
Wow, how could it possibly be?
I can't believe. Yeah, but yeah, great, like it.
Up next we got Pandora Hearts. Unless you wanted to say something else.
Nah.
I can't talk a whole lot about Pandora's Hearts just because I haven't finished it, even though I really should. This anime does not have a dub, and I've seen nothing of it in America. It came out in 2009, 25 episodes, and it's pretty much just about this. He's a duke, child duke. I think he's like 13 or 14, and he's heir to the throne. His name's Oz, and his like best friend, I believe, named Gil, I think, gets taken just to another world spontaneously by like these demons. And then the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland pretty much shows up and is like, I'll make you a deal. I'll take you there, get your friend back, but then you gotta help me out. And so there's a lot of like Alice in Wonderland themed characters, and the world's very interesting looking, but it's kind of dark too, and there's... I didn't get a chance to see what it was, but the main character has like this pocket watch that he's constantly using. And so I'm curious as to like if that has any powers, or if that's just him being the rabbit, maybe. Because you only see a handful of characters, so maybe he is the rabbit that keeps time and all that. But animation looks very clean, very nice. Holds up fairly well, and the character designs are very unique. It's the main character wears like a white button-up shirt with like a black vest, so it's got like that kind of bruiser style. It's kind of like a weird subculture where it's like he has blonde hair, wears that outfit, and it's kind of like a tough guy persona.
He looks like a little kid though. He's got like shorts.
Yeah,
I do not take this character like threateningly.
Yeah, I remember him trying to act tough in like certain situations, and he'll just cry in other situations.
And this cover I'm looking at, he's wearing a jacket that is way too big for him.
Yeah, I think his whole story is supposed to be like he's supposed to be growing into his role. Yeah, I don't remember why I stopped watching. I think I might have stopped watching because I was younger when I started watching this, and I just didn't really have interest in subs. But I got like 5 episodes in. But I've heard literally nothing about this, and it still to date does not have a dub. Which I don't know how common that is for anime. I assume it's fairly common because there's a lot of fucking anime out there, but I don't know. Who knows? I do have a quick question, if Zach, or Jared, if you might know this. Does anime just air on TV like normally?
Yeah.
Like if you just get a cable box, you'd have like like a handful of channels would just have anime on it.
Yeah, they air on TV.
Okay.
It's really evident in kids shows because if you watch like a kids, I know it's a bit off topic, but if you watch a kid on kids, I guess on kids channels they have like a clock on the corner of the screen. So if you watch like some kids animes on like Kiss Anime or something, you'll see the clock. Like if you watch Pokemon, they'll have the clock.
Interesting. Why is that? Is it just a...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why the fucking that'd be necessary.
Though I do have to say, like, one of my favorite animes ever is what's it called? Yamanero Patissiere. That had the clock in the corner, and I don't know what it was about it. It gave me like a very warm feeling in my heart. It was just something about like this, like I felt like I was watching something on real TV or something. I don't know what the feeling of it was that like made it so good.
Okay, so the main character's name is Oz. His friend's name was Gilbert, but he goes by Gil, and then the assistant main character is named Alice. I'm not crazy. I remembered that all right. Bada bing, bada boom. Well, I probably picked this up probably because I was really into Alice in Wonderland about this time, so I probably saw this. I was like, ooh, anime.
Ah, yes, every poet's Alice phase.
I hit it when I was like pre-teen, so I like. Thankfully, none of you knew me then, but I was like, oh my god. It was an interesting story until I went too far into it, and I lost all interest because it's very repetitive.
I mean, I do like Alice motifs. I remember there's a manga I really liked that was Alice in Wonderland themed.
Coming soon, Alice in Murderland.
I was like, I couldn't say which one it is because there's a million of them. Japan loves Alice in Wonderland,
which is just weird, but I mean, I get it. It's a interesting motif. It's another world. It's an American isekai.
I don't want to think about that. Stop.
I'm going to need you to stop, please.
It's Peter Pan in these? I could just do an island.
That can we please not go down this
How many
particular
isekais
rabbit
does
hole?
America have? Yeah, that's all I'm really gonna say about it. I liked it. I'm probably gonna end up trying to rewatch it at some point, but it's very hard to find. A couple sites I was looking for it on, I couldn't find it actually, so I'm gonna have to actually dig and see if I can find the actual place where I originally watched this. But yeah, Bento.
Bento! Because you had to pronounce it like Daisy yelling in Nintendo Strikers.
Next level games.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Bento. More crazy. Like this almost fits into the weird sports category, along with it being a weird food anime, because it's. Oh god, I don't even know where to start. Of the main character trying to find a club, ends up joining what's called the Bento Club. It's a club in which you go out to stores late at night when they have sales on half-price bento, and you go and you kick the shit out of everyone there until you get one. Like, it is like almost full-on Fight Club over half-price food.
That's a very weird...
Yeah.
I love Bento. It's like one of the coolest action animes ever because like it's so like it's low stakes, but it takes itself like seriously in a comedic way. Like these characters are wreaking havoc on each other to get these half-price lunches.
Like they have gangs and stuff. Like there are like wolves and dogs. Like people call themselves wolves or dogs. Dogs work as like a big old group to get food for each other. Wolves are like lone predators that just kind of go off on their own and beat everyone up.
I love when they name stuff like that. It's always
the boars. The boars. The boars. They're just giant moms, just barreling their way through.
No, there's not boars. There's a boar. There's one boar. And everybody hates her.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot it was one. Yeah, she's just like she's giant, but she's just like a mom, and she just charges through everyone.
Yeah. Well, like also the problem is that like there are essentially rules to the bento fights that like people follow, and the board does not follow the rules.
Oh yeah,
Because one of the rules of the bento fights is that you cannot go for the bentos until the guy who puts the stickers. I forget what they call them. They have like a name for the guys who put on the stickers. It was like you cannot go for the meals until he has until he's exited through the back doors. But the board does not follow those rules. She will grab the bentos while he's putting the stickers on them. And one of my favorite like moments is like they specifically try and stop the board. Like they grab her buggy and like push her back as he's putting the stickers on. So like, and the guy like appreciates them, so he leaves like a little like extra like bonus thing for them because he like appreciates them stopping the board.
Oh yeah, there was like special stickers that they were they more price marked down if they had like a special sticker on them?
Yeah,
it was either that or they supposed to be like the tastiest bentos or something like that.
Yeah, there was like the wreath bentos, which were like the special ones for some reason.
Like there's his friend who joins up with them, she's just clumsy. They don't really touch on her too much, but she's
yeah. But yeah, I love her because she's in the bento fights as well, but she doesn't fight like any of the other characters. She just kind of scrambles like under people and just like tends to win just by like being slippery.
Yep. Because there's the main character Yu, who's the normal like guy getting into sport, doesn't know what he's doing, kind of bad at it, but he eventually catches on. There's Sin, who she is the normal character of like she knows what she's doing. She's more or less a quote unquote pro as you can be with this. But eventually we'll get her butt kicked by the main antagonist. Then there's the cousin, who I think you would like, Anthony.
Oh. Yeah,
she personality and aesthetic wise, she fits you pretty well.
Fair enough.
Then there's the friend. Then there's the twins, who are kind of antagonists. There's no like main one, but they're the only like. The twin story is so weird. Though they probably have one of the sickest finishing moves I've ever seen from this.
Finishing moves?
The only villain I remember is the guy who starves himself so he'll be super hungry and like overpower everybody.
I forgot about him.
What the fuck is the show?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's only 12 episodes in 2011, so it's out of our marks, but yeah, like it's a light novel. Yeah, interesting. Kind of makes sense though.
What? How can you make a light novel about that? It's kind of a
I don't
weird
know
one.
if they did. But like the twins are two sisters who are just extremely good at this, and their finishing move is they will knock a person to the air. They both grab, the small shopping baskets that you get at like the entrance to shopping centers.
Yeah.
They take one of those, one puts it over their head, the other puts it around their feet, and they twist in opposite directions while they're in midair. It is the most ridiculous but painful looking move. They just and then the person's like just knocked out. It's like, oh god.
Jesus Christ.
But like there you go ahead.
No.
I say, but they're weirdly sympathetic because when they only get back into it because they see that like more activity's been happening in Bento. Like I guess it settled down after they left. But with this new guy, he's kind of riling everyone up to like do more bentos. And they don't like this is not just one store. They go to like several different stores.
In one night or over the course of the story?
Over the course of the story. Like it's hard, like I think they go back to the same stores, but it's like it's multiple different stores on every given night. And like one of the new one of the person who puts the stickers on, she was a former bento, like top bento participant. and then like her brother became like some weird pseudo mafia person involved in bentos. And it's just like that, but the twins got bullied out because this one guy just kind of, in a weird move, just made everyone not fight them. Like they purposely just let them go get their bento, and then they would proceed to fight everyone. So they basically bullied them out by not participating with them. But then the main character turns that on the guy. It's like, yeah, no, bento's for everyone. We should be able to beat everyone up.
Fuck that.
Because mind
everyone.
you, to remind you, it's Fight Club for food.
I especially love everybody's like nicknames, because every character has like a nickname. Like I forget the main girl is like, she's like the Ice Queen or something.
Yeah, I think it's the Ice Queen. Or Ice Witch? I think it's the Ice Witch.
Yeah, right, Ice Witch. But like my favorite is like there's like these, I don't remember if it's 2 or 3 of them, but there's like just these like reoccurring side characters. Like the one's like brunette, who's just like you never see her face. Like her face is always slightly obscured. Like she's a regular character we see a lot. And there's like the monk or whatever, who's just like a bald guy.
Oh yeah, the monk. The cousin is called the Beauty by the Lake.
So is this a high school club or like?
Yeah. They really don't touch on it much of it being a club afterwards. It's just a lot of it takes place in the store. It's just people fighting each other.
All right.
Well, like yeah, they are in a like the other people aren't in a club, but the main characters are in a club in school. Like they're specifically in the bento club, which is just they kind of go there, talk. It's also like where the girl puts all of her stickers. Like the wall is like covered in the stickers that she's collected.
Oh yeah.
It's like a little book with stickers.
So it's kind of like the club is just. It's like it would be happening whether the club existed or not, kind of thing.
Yeah, the club is just a way that they can organize and like help each other, like just these high school students, because they're not only fighting high school students, they're fighting grown adults.
Yeah. Like the monk is like 70. But he looks just like Krillin from Dragon Ball, but skinnier. Because he's even got the dots on his head and everything. And one of them wears a Dragon Ball shirt. Not the monk, but the guy who's with the monk. This is like the brunette, the monk, and there's one other guy, like one younger looking guy, who's always has a group, kind of. He always is wearing like a Dragon Ball shirt. Just show is bonkers, but I love it. The intro, though, is really good. It's one of the few that I have on my phone that I listen to, and I never really get tired of listening to it.
I always forget how it is, but I know always remember it being good, but I always forget about it. I don't actually think I have it. I remember the ending song being decent, but I remember I like the animation of the ending thing where it's like her trying to put a sticker in a really hard to reach place on the wall, and then I think like he helps her or something.
Yeah.
So is this a lewd anime?
There's some ecchi. There's some ecchi, but they don't go like out of their way for it.
Because like looking up images of it, it's very either way.
I will put it this, like, it's not ecchi enough to where I remembered it being heavily ecchi. So,
Okay.
I mean, the main girl has tights, and they like to show them off a lot. Like she's like they love showing off the main girl's legs.
Man of culture, I see.
And then brunette, who they ever show is her chest. Kind of the same with the cousin, but. Also, the cousin doesn't go to the same school as them. She just ends up going to these, or she had been going to these different bentos from like her area. Yeah, it's just show is bonkers, but I love it.
Who would you recommend the show for?
Joe for one. This is like the most Keijo. This is Keijo before Keijo happened.
Yeah. It's got very good Keijo energy. If you like the ridiculous, like ordinary but high stakes premise to a very low stakes thing, then you'll enjoy this. Similar to kind of Keijo, where it's almost like a sports thing.
Oh my god!
I guess you enjoy martial arts because there's actually a pretty decent amount of martial arts and fighting in it.
Anyways, how many episodes? Sorry, how many episodes did you say it was? It was.
It is 12 episodes. Normal length, aired in 2011, like the winter fall of 2011.
Okay. It's definitely have that 2011-ish art style, where it's like very clean, but it's still got that little bit of old taste to it.
Yeah.
Anime is really weird, where you can definitely tell what era it came from just by like certain random things about it. But
Yeah, it's interesting.
Then you guys also wanted to talk about Punchline. Or at least Zach did. I don't know if Jarrett knows about this.
I will chime in a bit, but this is mostly Zach's domain. Zach has a much more better understanding of it than I did.
I had to try. I like talked about Punchline all the time to get someone to watch, and I eventually some point hooked Jarrett into watching it. Because Punchline is so that like I'm convinced like Punchline should have been bigger than it was. I blame its god awful premise. Punchline has the worst premise ever, but it's such a good show. For one, I have to mention that is I don't know the guy's name, but is written by the guy who wrote the Zero Escape franchise. And that franchise is absolutely bonkers. Like that's the craziest story ever.
Yeah.
Like that like yeah, the story has so many twists and turns, and Punchline is written by him, and it's really good, but no one watched it because of how terrible the premise is. Because like I'm just gonna say what the synopsis, like what like most the synopsises usually are. It's because like the synopsis is something like if he sees panties, the world will get destroyed or whatever. Like that's what they tend to like show off when it comes to the anime, which is kind of the premise, but very eh.
And it kind of drops off, like, not even halfway?
Yeah, halfway, like pretty much the halfway point is where that stops even being an issue.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen clips of this at some point, just in like anime funny moment, dumb shit stuff.
Yeah, so, like basically like the main character, after like this whole stuff with a bus and a superhero and all that, the main character like his body gets possessed by a ghost, and his ghost gets ejected out, and then he's trying to figure out how to get his body back from whatever took his body. So it's kind of like the first half of the anime is like a mystery, like who's in his body, how's he gonna get his body back, but while he's also investigating the dorm he lives in with all these girls, so he's like kind of learning about what they're doing and like trying to help them because like a lot of weird stuff is going on, so he's like using his ghost powers to help them. But if he sees panties, then the world gets destroyed by a meteor, and then he goes back in time a little bit.
So it does like happen.
Yeah, pretty much like the first half of the anime. Pretty much the first half of the anime, that's how every episode ends, with the world Earth getting destroyed by a meteor.
Yeah, because I think the first 6 episodes kind of is him trying to figure out what's happening, and then each of them after that is focusing on one of the girls in the dorm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they kind of like focus on the kind of hyper focus girls a little bit.
It kind of goes Kill la Kill, where like the plot kicks in halfway through, and you're like, oh, this isn't just kind of ecche
Monster of the Week.
Yeah, it's okay. There's insane plot.
I'm gonna have to do this. I have to spoil the halfway point because this is what I believe would hook people. Like, because obviously the first half, like the synopsis, is why I'm convinced that no one watched it. But the halfway point is really where it starts getting good. Because like we learn more about the girls, what's happening around the dorm. All this weird stuff is going on. There's like some like weird secret organization and stuff. They're doing weird things. Yeah, I guess. But then like eventually like the meteor starts coming towards the Earth like on like New Year's or Christmas. I forget which one it was. It was like one of those two. And then like the main character, he reunites with his body, and then his body, like, when you figure out who's actually in his body, and it's him, and he was like, I'm you from a different time, like, I time traveled and got your body, and I was going to try and stop the meteor, but I didn't do good enough. Now it's your turn.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
So he gives him this, like, book, and he, like, reads this book, and it sends him back in time, and then he possesses his body at the scene where his body got possessed in the first episode. So then the second half is him like, now knowing everything that's gonna happen, is, like, him trying to stop the meteor and all that, while, like, also kind of avoiding his ghost self, because, like, you know, it's the events we spent the first 6 episodes watching, but from a different perspective.
That's interesting, actually. Why the fuck isn't that, like, any part of the plot synopsis? Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know, because it's like a crazy twist. Like I said, it's fucking Zero Escape guy. Yeah, freaking Zero Escape guy. I love him, and I'm not gonna spoil how the whole anime ends, but the ending had me fucking crying for like 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, that ending, it didn't have that quite the same effect on me, but that ending hits. That ending hits crazy.
Huh.
I don't want to say. It's one of those shows that I don't actually want to spoil this stuff for, because it's that good. I think you need to watch it. So watch it. It's not too hard to find.
Yeah, like 12 episodes too. It's
and dubbed. I think I found mine dubbed too. So
I don't know, maybe. It also has a video game, though. I hear mixed things about the video game.
Curious as to what that actually be about.
But the video game, as far as I'm aware, the video game is actually like the story, but also its own like original thing. Like, it's got some original stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
Though I hear it kind of like it uses a lot of clips from the anime, so people say it's kind of boring.
Interesting. All right.
Also, amazing opening.
oh yeah.
The ED's all right. The opening is great, and it's the first opening I ever realized like symbolism in, because there is the symbolism of, you know, that optical illusion of like a character run of like infinite stairs. It's him running up infinite stairs until eventually he reaches the top.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
All right, that's all I got. On to Samurai 7.
Samurai 7, fucking great fucking anime. I actually really enjoy this just because I don't talk about it ever, but it's probably one of my favorites. This came out in 2004, and is 26 episodes. There's an old Japanese tale about, pretty much these gang members come up to a group of or a village of farmers, and they're like, hey, give us half of your food and we won't destroy your town. And it goes that way for a while, and then the villagers get sick of it, and so they go and they hire 7 samurai, and the samurai come, kick the shit out of the guards, and then everyone's prosperous and happy and whatnot. So this is that story, but like a semi-steampunk take on it. Like, the world is both super advanced but very primitive at the same time. Like, they have giant mechs sometimes, and like one character is just straight up a robot, but they're like still farming manually, and they have city slums, and it's kind of like a weird utopian dystopian thing. And the main character is like an apprentice samurai who's learning to actually be like a full-fledged samurai from this really old master who's like teaching him. And then there's somebody who's just like trying to collect, a bunch of heroes to, come to the village and whatnot. So you have like a giant robot You have like a monk. You have a like mechanic repairman who he just drives a giant mech samurai. You have like a gunslinger samurai guy, and then a just a regular standard guy. And it's very interesting. They like semi take down an empire regime, and there's like some cool politic things going on about like somebody trying to overthrow the throne of the current emperor. Insane fight scenes, like, oh my god, they're so cool. They're like, the fight scenes are super intense and detailed, and they drag on without like a lot of dialogue, because that's kind of a huge problem when it comes to like, you know, dialogue being presented. It's usually very stilted, and like, especially during fights, it's very trashly done, I will say.
I do have to mention, I looked up, I just Google image it, I see the guy who wears like samurai armor. That might be the coolest anime character design I've ever seen.
Oh, he's wearing red armor?
Yeah, with Kikuchiyo.
Yeah, the guy who voices him in English also voices Abura Kami in Bento. He's a like really famous voice actor. Like, he does stuff for Black Clover. He's All Might in My Hero, for fuck's sake. That's yeah. I was like, he's somebody really famous. I forget who he is, but he's like one of my favorites. Yeah, he's a robot samurai. He's sick as shit. His sword is like a jackhammer that has like a giant blade on the end of it. So he'll like stab it into something, then turn the jackhammer on and just drive it in further. Oh, it's so good. But it's a really good take on that old story. The main samurai kid is kind of annoying. I mean, it's kind of like the like Anakin situation from Star Wars, where he's just kind of a whiny bitch. But other than that, the other 6 samurai are all solid, cool as shit. All have their own cool, unique thing that they have. There's like this cute little Lolly. I don't remember if she has bear ears or they're just big ball things, but she's like these big decorations, and oh, it's so good. Not super pretty looking. It's a very standard kind of realistic-ish looking anime, but story 10 out of 10. Love it to death. Would definitely watch it again at some point. It aired on Adult Swim, and that's when I ended up watching it. And Adult Swim's Toonami actually has a surprisingly good pick of anime that they choose to air.
I wouldn't know. All I see was 2 episodes of Cowboy Bebop and Inuyasha.
Yeah, they air shit like Inuyasha. They aired Bleach for the longest time. They're airing JoJo currently. I want to say they had Naruto for a while. The Boondocks. You know, that's kind of a might count, might not count.
That was Toonami. That's just regular Adult Swim.
Yeah, that's right. Cowboy Bebop, obviously. Space Dandy, too.
Toonami, why couldn't you have done One Piece? Why'd you let 4 kids get that first?
A Toonami One Piece would be insane.
One Piece could have been the new... Like, One Piece could have been super popular in America if it wasn't for the fact that 4 kids got their grubby little hands on it.
Yeah, 4 kids definitely ruined it. That's so sad. But if you like traditional stories, good fighting, samurais, old-timey farmer-esque things, mecha, like, check this out. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I like the idea of like kind of... I love mixed technology. Like I said, I'm obsessed with One Piece, and one of my favorite parts about it is just the weird, absurd mixed technology of like, a cyborg in the fucking pirate time.
Yeah, like for context, there's no way they'd have cell phones. Like, they'd have to pretty much go somewhere or write a letter. But they have mechs, so like, you know, technology's a little all over the place. Love it though.
Yeah, that kind of shit up. I love that so much.
Yeah. Speaking of things you love, Zach, Dog Days.
Dog Days. All right. Yeah. Dog Days is one of my favorite animes, like of all time. Like it is, it is like the anime that I like. There's two animes I constantly debate on what is just straight up my favorite anime. And that's Dog Days and Working. It constantly like wavers because they're still kind of different. Like Dog Days is an isekai, while Working is just a slice of life workplace comedy, which it's almost ironic that one of my favorite animes is an isekai. I feel like some kind of like weird wheel of fate watching me. Yeah, but it's pretty much about this this in this fantasy world of like people with like animal ears and tails. The kingdom of the dogs is at war with the kingdom of the cats, and they're like, we need a hero, we're going to lose to the cats, like the cats are crazy strong, we need to summon a hero from another world. And so like the princess, like, I found one, it's like, let's summon this guy, and they summon this kid named Shinku. It's like the weirdest name I've ever heard. It's like fucking Shink or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like a former acrobat or something. Like he used to do like Ultimate Ninja Warrior type stuff. Like you do see flashbacks of him doing like weird, like that kind of stuff. He's a gymnast, a former gymnast, and then like he's also good at the pole arm for some reason. They never really explain why he practices pole arm, but I guess it helps him consider the fact what he ends up getting into. But he gets summoned to this world, and then they're like, it was like, we're at war with the cats, we need you to fight in the war. And then he's like, all right. and then like we learned really fast that the war isn't a regular war, it's a sporting event.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a sponsored sports festival with like like the sponsors and stuff, like televised and all that. And obviously Shinku being a gymnast, like absolutely dominates and wins it for the dogs. And then he's like, cool, now send me home. And then they're just like, oh yeah, the problem is like we don't actually know how to do that, and if we don't send you home within like a week, you will never be able to go home. So like that's the first season is pretty much like them in a race to try and get Shinku home by the end of summer vacation, or else he'll be trapped in here forever. While also like there's like some like plot that happens with like a whale or something that's going to like kill the princess. It's kind of weird.
All right.
The first season is good. The second season is what I love so much. The second season's even better because it's next summer vacation. Shinku comes back and brings his cousin and his childhood best friend, and then like they all kind of are associated with kingdoms. Like Shinku's still with the dogs, the cousins with the cats, and then the childhood friends with the newly added squirrels.
Oh, so there are other races.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like occasional ones. We also see like foxes. There's like a fox ninja that we see a couple times.
Okay.
But I love this anime because like it's not like, besides that whole like big like killer, I'm pretty sure it was like a whale in the first season. This anime is very lighthearted. Like it's essentially a isekai slice of life because it's just them having fun every episode, like just them going on like fun adventures in this fantasy world. So like nothing really serious ever really happens. My only problem is I wish they did the wars more, because honestly the war was the most interesting part of like the most interesting premise in the whole show, but they only do the war like twice and only in like one episode each time.
Ooh.
I really wish they made the wars like bigger events than than they actually are.
Huh.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
And I
though.
just yeah. Also love all the characters. Very very well designed characters. I also love that all of the dogs are named after like foods, like sweets. Like we got like biscotte, eclair, stuff like that.
Oh, that
It's a good
that
naming
explains
scheme.
something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's nothing.
You did it again.
Yeah, I have an obsession with naming dogs Eclair now. Like, mostly because Eclair was my favorite character in Dog Days because she was just like a tsundere tomboy guard.
There's a lot going on with that sentence.
Tsundere tomboy knight, dog, girl, green hair for some reason.
Word salad. There we go.
Yes. Huh. Well, shall we move on to the final one, or is there anything else you want to say?
I was just gonna say it's three seasons, 12 each, so like 36 episodes. The third season's all right. Like, well, like on my anime list, I gave the first few seasons like 10s, and then I gave the third one a 9. It's just I didn't like the third season as much. It just didn't really get me like the second one does. The second one is amazing. Like that's the best season. But yeah, watch it if you like if you want to, if you're ever curious about what a slice of life isekai would be like, that's Dog Days is what it is.
It's a very cutesy art style.
Yeah.
All right. The final one I'm gonna be talking about today is Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. This is another one that came out in 2006. And the premise of it is kind of interesting. So this kid is like, she's kind of a nerd. Nobody likes him. And so he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to join a karate club. And so he joins the club, and then he just gets like the shit beat out of him by all the members because they're like, oh yeah, you're weak, you can't do anything. It's kind of like a Cobra Kai situation. And then he runs into this girl who, she's obviously well versed in like karate and athletics. And she's like, oh, hey, my grandfather runs a dojo. You want to come train there? He's like, I don't know. She's like, no, you're going to come train. And she takes him there, and there's like 5 masters, and they're each like dominant in a different fighting style. Like there's Chinese martial arts, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, karate, and then weapons. So like he just keeps getting trained in like all these different styles by these different masters, and like each one of the masters has like very distinct personality. My favorite is the Muay Thai guy because he's just this big dumb idiot who likes to hit stuff really hard. And then the weapons girl is like, she wears like the most skimpy outfit, but she just has weapons like hidden everywhere in like every piece of clothing. Like she'll just pull out the sides, just out of like the little cleavage part in her shirt. It's like that couldn't fit in there. Slight ecche, like enough to be like noticeable, but not like overwhelming. And then the fights are fairly realistic. There are like a lot of anime things about it, but like, you know, when they hit somebody, they don't go flying back 20 feet. They just fall down. Surprising 50 episodes. Quite lengthy. So kind of an interesting thing. He runs into a group of delinquents. They're like a gang, and they're called Ragnarok. And I think there's like 10 or 20 members, and each one of them is named after like a specific Nordic thing. Like the head of the club's name is Odin, and he has like this special technique called Odin's Eye, where he can see any attack incoming within a certain radius of him. But like it boils down to he just has fast reaction time. There's a girl called like Valkyrie where she wears jeans, but only one of them has like a leg on it. So like the other leg is like cut off, because it's like her kicking leg or something. Yeah. Then you get like some really weird looking characters. Like one character just has super long elf ears for no reason. He's like a bowl cut and like super long elf ears, and he's just a fucking weirdo and just it's always doing dumb shit.
Here's your part 6 look.
Yeah. And then character designs are kind of all over. Like each character fits their fighting style. Like the regular karate guy is like somebody you'd expect to see in Street Fighter, like, you know, open shirt, kind of long ponytail, you know, muscular shit. The Chinese martial arts guy is like this little tiny Chinese man with like a bowl hat and a Chu Man Fu. You know, it's just all the characters are really cool. The main girl, the main girl and her grandfather are interesting because they have the exact same haircut. So it's really funny just seeing them side by side because like she has like this one very distinct, very long tuft of hair that comes out the front, but so does he. But yeah, character designs all over the place. It's a pretty good anime. The voice acting is a little because it's just that era where voice acting wasn't, the standard of it wasn't that high back then. But the fight scenes are pretty good. The story is pretty good. It's very decent. Oh man, I forgot they have a trope of the character that only fights with one arm because his other arm is paralyzed. He's kind of cool.
Just fight with the paralyzed arm. With it.
I think he does at some point, and then somebody fixes it for him, and then he just becomes even stronger. Some crazy shit. They have a really funny beach episode. I say beach episode, it was an indoor pool. But it's pretty much a beach episode. Yeah, Jarrett, I think you'd like this. I feel like if it was made like 2009, it'd be a lot better. But I think you might like this.
What year was it?
2006.
Oh, another 2006.
Yeah. Yeah. But
All right.
oh man, I forgot they have like a little mouse character that's always hanging around the girl with weapons. It's always doing dumb shit. Yeah. I think it's a good place to wrap it up. We got a pretty decent amount of stuff in today.
Oh yeah. We got through a very good chunk.
Yeah. Go check out any of these animes. They're all very good, very interesting, very underappreciated.
Yes. Yeah. Out of all the ones we talked about, highest recommendation?
For me personally, probably Samurai 7.
Zach?
I don't know. I feel like, I feel like Dog Days and Kyokai no Rene are underappreciated just because of the high amount of episodes they have compared to its notoriety. But I just want more people to watch Punchline. For the love of God, people watch Punchline, please.
Yeah, Punchline's really, really good. But out of the ones I watch, definitely Isekai. It's my top out of those three.
Which one's that again? Refresh me.
It's the Japanese food from another world.
Ah, okay.
It's really short. It's very easy to get through. It's very likable.
I'd have to recommend that one too. I've only seen the first episode, but it was really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. You can find links to everything in the link dump, along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month. We'll occasionally have a special episode, so be sure to stick around for that. Be sure to join us next time, and as always, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, Internet.